What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 19 of Radiovania, your nerdy public radio for all things entertainment and pop culture. My name is Zach Rotello, at Zach Rotello on Twitter, and I'm sitting across from John Swansong Parker. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing, Zach?
Dude, I am on cloud 9.
Yeah, he is.
We just got finished with I guess technically day 1. Sunday was day 0. Today's day 1 of E3, which means we just saw press conferences from EA, Ubisoft,
Microsoft.
Bethesda, Microsoft,
And Sony.
John, there's a few news items, but I don't want to talk about them. You know why?
Why?
Because E3 is it's the most wonderful time. We're high on energy right now. I've also had a gin and tonic. Or 2.
Or 3.
Or 3.
Or 4. Just 3?
Just 3?
Just 3?
I think it's like 3 right now. But
Okay.
I'm hyped. I'm so hyped, John.
Yes.
How did you feel about the Sony press
The
conference?
Sony press conference was by far the best press conference.
Let's get it out. Let's just get it out
All
of the
the
way.
things that we were like,
Just
no,
get
they're-
it out of the way.
all the things we were like, oh, there's no way they're going to have this. Guess what? They had it.
They had it in droves. The thing is that we were sitting down eating dinner. We had some delicious chicken cutlets.
Made by him.
Yours truly. And we had some delicious seasoned fries and some nice tossed salad by JP. It was a feast. And
If you need me to toss your salad.
free 1-800-TossYourSalad.com. And we were
.com.
we were talking about, oh, by the way, this is Radiovania. You can subscribe to the show. Go to YouTube. Go to Radiovania.com.
The new website.
Our new website, Radiovania.com, for all information, all discussions, all nerdy videos all the time. Radiovania.com. Tell your friends.
Tell your wife, tell your kids, tell
At
your
radio-
friends, tell your
at-
dog, tell your grandparents.
Tell your dog, man. Talk to your dog about it.
Buddy.
So, John, what I want to do is go through the press conferences with you, but let's keep this energy, right? But let's start it at more of the rough spot with the first conference, the EA conference. Now,
You're just like, I had a boner, and then now it's like, yeah.
well, so how do we feel about the EA conference in general?
There were some good parts. There were some really boring parts.
Oh, yeah.
Overall, I mean, conference-wise, it was presented, I think, the worst out of all of them.
Yeah, they definitely didn't present it in a way that was interesting to video game enthusiasts.
Yes.
And people that were
Yes.
like really excited. I'm sure it was fine for like press people, or not press people, but people that were in the media, people that were writing for sports outlets or whatever, for the big FIFA announcements or whatever. But like for people like us, it was just like, there were so many times during that conference I found myself checking Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But so the way I organized my notes was that I organized it by press conference, and under the press conferences, every underlined thing is a game that was shown. EA, unsurprisingly, has the least amount of games shown at their conference.
Sure.
The first game they showed was Titanfall, and it opened the show. Shout out to the PS4, obviously, Titanfall coming to the PS4. Big news.
Single-player campaign for
Yeah.
Titanfall.
It looks fine.
New Titans.
It doesn't look...
I didn't play the first one a whole lot. I think I might have played a demo or something at one point.
I definitely
or another.
played a few levels at a friend's. The Titanfall 2 trailer looked interesting to me, but nothing like super crazy exciting.
Sure.
Next up on the show, of course, it showed the deeper progression, getting more arcadey vibes.
Madden.
Yes,
was
Madden
next, right?
was the next one. Also,
Madden is Madden.
I want to make a special point to say that at the EA conference, they did confirm the date for Titanfall 2, which is October. It's not exactly I don't know the exact date, but it's in October, which is the same time that Battlefield releases, which is kind of weird.
2 AAA games.
2 big multiplayer shooters in the same month like that. I don't know, and I think more people are going to buy Battlefield, so it sounds like to me,
Titanfall already has a nail in the coffin, I feel like.
it sounds like they're in trouble, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like you said, Madden. Nothing super interesting. At least I didn't feel like there was anything
I
interesting.
mean, every year it's the same. You know, it's they say that they add new stuff, and that's true. They add, you know, maybe they tweak the game modes. And,
They
you know,
balance.
they update the rosters, and the graphics keep getting better. It's still going to sell a lot of money. It's still probably one of the best-selling sports games of all time. So, I mean, if it's one of their, you know, heavy hitters, obviously they're going to show it. And, you know, it's fine.
It was at this
It
point.
looks good.
It was at this point in the conference that they decided to go into like literally a 15-minute talk about esports and Madden
and tournaments and multiplayer tournaments.
and good for those people. I'm
but
glad they
I'm
have
terrible
fun.
at it.
I had no interest in that part of the conference. Like I totally shut down. Like when they were going back and forth between those two guys that were like
That was
supposedly,
hilarious.
it was funny and it was entertaining, I guess. But like I so didn't care about anything that was happening at that point in the conference. Mass Effect. EA started talking about Mass Effect, which is another big game under their belt. That game is really far away. Like they
Andromeda.
didn't have much to show, but it looked beautiful. Looks like a great space, a game to hang around in space.
Everything's in space now.
It is, yeah. People are moving forward into that future.
Yep.
FIFA 17.
Same thing with Madden.
The big news is that they introduced a story-like mode like NBA 2K16. It looks interesting to me. I really don't have any interest in buying a soccer game at $60 as much as I think soccer is a fine sport.
But there are plenty of people that do, and if you like this game, there's going to be a lot to bite into this time around, especially with the single-player mode. Like you said, it's like the create your own path, your own legacy type of thing, which I, as a sports fan, find really interesting. I love when games did that. When 2K first introduced it, I thought it was fantastic. And MLB has Road to the Show, and then the NCAA football games had it when those were still in production. So this is pretty exciting, especially since FIFA is emerging as one of the better selling sports games and more popular sports games.
Yeah, and then after 2K16 did their whole thing with the story mode, which I just finished over the past couple days, it wasn't very good. It was fine, but
the point of the sports games is playing multiplayer.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I mean, I like playing MLB and 2K by myself, but I like it a lot more playing against another person. It's all about competition because that's the heart of sports. So
yeah. Next up for the EA conference, they went into a different sort of speed, which I really appreciated, which was the EA Originals. They talked about the indie developers that they were going to bring on, and they were going to give each of them time to shine. And the one that they chose was Zoink, which we followed on Twitter. Shout out to Zoink. And their new game, Fee, which is a artsy sort of experimental platformer, very along the same lines as Journey or Flower. It looks like really interesting. Looks like a lot of fun. A beautiful art style and great music.
I mean, besides Star Wars, was probably my favorite part of EA's press conference. It looks like a very unique and just very, like you said, art-driven game. It's just giving service to those developers out there that spend a hard time making that.
Agreed. And we'll see a pattern with games that developers that focus on games and those that don't. Hint, hint, Sony. Then we move into Star Wars talk. John, let's talk some Star Wars for a few minutes.
Sure.
Lots of Star Wars devs. They made a very specific point to bring out every single one of the developers and show them in a sizzle reel and a very well cut together video, at least I thought.
I thought it was a great video.
Of all the developers that are working on Star Wars games from now into the future that's planned. So Respawn, there's Visceral, there's EA, straight dice and all that stuff. But the biggest things is that Star Wars Battlefront 2 was teased. They said that they're listening to their fans and adding new content from the films.
The new films.
Yes.
So that includes The Force Awakens and the upcoming Star Wars Episode 8.
How did this jive with you?
I think we talked about this. This should have been done on the first game.
Oh, yeah.
So,
100%.
like you said, Battlefront 2 is the apology letter to the fans.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully you can play as, Poe Dameron in the Black
Poe
X-Wing
Dameron?
and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to expanding the Star Wars universe in Battlefront. But I'm more excited about some of the other Star Wars games that they have lined up.
Star Wars Visceral. Speaking of the other games that we're excited about, led by Amy Hennig, who came out and talked during the video, which was awesome to see her. The concept art was shown and a short video was shown, which means, John, you're ahead in the predictions. One of my predictions was Battlefield gameplay shown off and Micah Richard creams his jeans,
Which happened
during the EA showing. You guessed that showcase trailer for DLC for Battlefront Bespin and maybe Death Star, but no footage from Battlefront 2. And you also said tease for a story-based Star Wars game at EA conference. And you said Visceral. So you have 2 points and I have 1.
Star Wars in my basket. The teases for the Bespin real quick.
Yeah, what did you think about the short clip for Bespin?
It's cinematic clips, which is fine.
Yeah, that's
no
fine.
gameplay footage, shows Lando. Did it show Dengar? I don't think it did. It shows
I did not see
shows
Dengar.
the Falcon flying around Cloud City in a cinematic form. It's basically like The Empire Strikes Back, but in like game cinematic. So like I'm excited, but again, looking forward more to the future with Star Wars games.
Yeah. The Star Wars Respawn game was announced, which is, again, they talked about it being a third-person, story-driven game. Action. Best in shown, Death Star
that
shown.
was when they showed two people wearing, like, mocap suits fighting with
Yes.
lightsabers, which is really cool.
Yeah, very
because
cool.
that could be, some type of either... It's going to... hopefully it could be something that's set before the original trilogy, since they're, like... Obviously, the prequels are a touchy subject. Old Republic's pretty solid, but maybe they can move into something kind of in like the Republic days.
Next up, shout out to Hard as Mike on Twitter. Battlefield 1 takes the stage for the most lengthy gameplay and talking abouts for the EA conference. The open beta announced for later this summer. I've already subscribed to it, so when I do get my code, I'll let you guys know how it is, and we'll do some gameplay probably. Looks great. I'm hyped. I'm excited for it. I want to see more. I thought that the gameplay they showed was kind of lackluster. Also thought it was kind of stupid that they showed the same cinematic twice and then again during Ubisoft's conference.
Yeah.
So, what did you think about as someone who's not super jazzed about the Battlefield games? Did you find it interesting at all?
It was nice to see gameplay.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
You got a point for it, so
Yes. The cinematic thing was cool. And then they played it again, and it kind of dragged on. You could tell that this is where they're putting all their eggs.
Oh yeah, they know this is going to be their high seller.
Like you said, I'm not jazzed for it at all. I'll probably wait to see how it does after it comes out before even considering buying it. But hey, you guys, if you're into it, it looks like it's going to be cool, and it's nice that they're instead of where every other game is, which is going towards the future, this one's going back towards the past. And they made an interesting point about talking about how important World War I is. It's setting the stage for modern warfare, and that's what they're trying to play into.
Yeah, they definitely put an emphasis on the historical aspects, which I appreciate, because if there's one thing that Battlefield has been doing lately that's better than Call of Duty is telling an interesting story. I did feel like the story in Battlefield 3, or whichever one launched with PS4, was it 4?
4.
Yeah, I felt like the Battlefield 4 story was good, and it was interesting. Way more interesting than I thought Advanced Warfare story was, and that had Kevin Spacey. So I don't know what you got to do, but that is EA. In general, I'd give it a 6.5 out of 10. It was boring, slow. It had a really bad opening, but a pretty strong closing with Battlefield and Star Wars.
I will say that the EA Star Wars video tugs on nostalgia heartstrings.
Definitely. It was really well put together.
If you noticed, it was almost... It started out the same as the Battlefield or the Battlefront teaser, where the guy's at work and he's typing and then he looks at his old R2 figure.
And then he jumps out
and
the
then
window.
this one starts with him looking at his new R2 and his new BB-8 figures off to the side of his computer, and he's like writing up concept art for future games.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So it was, I thought that, like we said, probably the best part of the whole thing, followed by Fee.
I agree. I agree.
But yeah.
What would you...
I would give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. Moving on to Bethesda, who kicked the evening off on Sunday. This was Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sunday evening, Bethesda came to the stage at, I believe it was 9 p.m. 9 to 10 or 10 to 11?
It was 9, I think.
9. Yeah. So Bethesda took the stage at 9 p.m. on Sunday night here in Eastern time.
It was 10.
It was 10?
I'm sorry.
Whatever.
We watched Game of Thrones.
Times. Oh, yeah, that's right. The game.
Yeah.
The first thing that opened the show was Quake. Now, John, do you have any connection to Quake?
Not a clue.
Yeah, so Quake was a big deal for PC nerds when it first opened up. I totally respect it, totally love it, never got into it, but it's a big thing for the show. It obviously, it garnered a lot of positive responses. Arena Combat, it's a PC exclusive. It looks like total fan service and pandering to Hard as Mike. Not necessarily that Michael's into Quake, but the Bethesda conference in general just seemed very focused to whoever the gamer is that Michael Richard is. Fallout 4. Or no. Well, so between that and Fallout 4, there was an Elder Scrolls Legends card game. Yeah, do we care?
No.
Yeah, we don't
But some people do.
Yeah, sure.
And if you like these types of games, which apparently there's 7 million players or something like that.
Yeah, and card games.
The stuff that they're adding looks really cool, and we'll get a little bit into more of the card game stuff as we go along with another conference later on.
Yeah, seriously, this didn't end here.
So clearly, there's a huge market for it, and for those of you that do enjoy this type of game and enjoy this genre of game, looks like you're going to have a lot to look forward to.
Fallout 4 add-on, and I have written here nonsense. The first DLC, it looks like they announced 1, 2, 3, 4 DLC or additions to Fallout 4. The first is contraptions, which it looks like is conveyor belts.
It's like
slides,
more tech stuff.
Yeah, like techie stuff for building. The Vault Tech Workshop, which look like more building things.
Build your own house underground.
Yeah, okay.
So, because in Fallout 4 right now, you can build your own house. Shout out back to Mike.
Yeah.
He made quite the penthouse, and I would study in the living room, and I basically witnessed the whole thing being built. But so you can make your own vault now.
And then they announced the Nuka-Cola Land DC, which is it looks like a theme park for Nuka-Cola, which looks totally awesome. I'm totally in for that.
Sure.
Far Harbor it grabbed me. I was watching Michael play it, and it was definitely interesting looking, but I didn't have the urge to go spend $20 on it. Nuka-Cola Land seems fun, and I've been looking for an excuse to get back into Fallout because it was such a great game, and I had a good time with it. And then the last thing was that they announced a Fallout Shelter PC version. So for all of you people like me that got hooked on Fallout Shelter for about a month and a half, here's your PC version. You can play it on your desktop, which is cool. I mean, I didn't hold on to the game very long. I deleted it from my phone because I got tired of it. But
what's better, Fallout Shelter or Miitomo?
Oh, Fallout Shelter. Miitomo is kind of bad. It's fun. It's an entertaining bad. I do it because I want those Nintendo points. I want to spend it on those games. You know what I mean? Fallout Shelter was actually a really well designed game.
I like that Raiders of the Lost Ark thing you had going there.
Indie.
No, that's Temple of Doom. Dude.
Oh, sorry.
God. Shake my head.
Now for the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest announcement of the Bethesda conference was Skyrim Special Edition.
Yeah.
This is a huge deal. Of course, this was leaked. Of course, it was a rumor, though. Not many people knew if this was true or not, but it ended up being the showcase of the show. Updated graphics, updated engine, updated visuals in every single way.
Gorgeous.
Oh, it looks fabulous.
And for those of you that really, really, really enjoyed Skyrim and you logged so many hours into it and stuff like that, you get to do it all over again, but in a more beautiful world. You know?
Now, let me
and
ask,
it'll have all the DLCs included, which is awesome.
Which is huge. That's like $50 extra of deal to this package.
Sure.
My question to you is, did you play Skyrim?
I played the first half hour of it, and then I didn't play. I never owned it myself, so what I played was when I borrowed it from Michael.
Okay.
But I mean, it's not saying that I wouldn't enjoy it. I just never got around to playing it.
My second question is, does this compel you to go back?
I might get this one.
Yeah.
But we'll get to this later. There's a lot of other games on the roster that I'd much rather play.
There are a lot of games at this E3.
However, no Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah, so that was another point that I lost out on, was that there was no teaser or mention of any kind for Elder Scrolls 6.
Do you think? I mean, I think releasing 5 Special Edition is a good idea because I think it buys them more time. Do you think they're trying to buy more time, or do you think 6 is actually like close to being ready?
What worries me is that we don't know who's developing this. I mean, we know it must be Bethesda Inside Studios, but that same studio is the one that does Fallout. Like, the same studio that does Skyrim or Elder Scrolls does Fallout. So
they're busy with Fallout.
They're super busy. So whoever did the HD port, or like the remaster, it had to have been a remaster studio or someone else under the Bethesda belt. It couldn't have been that studio because they're busy working on
Fallout DLC,
and all this stuff. So it's not a specific worry because, like you said, there's a ton of great games coming out. But like, I don't think a sequel to Skyrim is anywhere near in our future.
It's about in the same boat as Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah,
probably.
I say, God, Lord have mercy, 2019.
That's fair.
2019, 2020. We don't see this game for a long time.
You'll get it the holiday season before Star Wars Episode 9 comes out.
Lol.
The Rise of Rey.
Shout out to Raphael Cool-Antonio.
Raphael Cool-Antonio.
Yeah, just wanted to make a special shout out to that. Coolest name at E3, bar none.
Yeah, definitely.
We got a cinematic trailer with no gameplay for Prey, the reboot of Prey, which has been long rumored. There was actually a lot of talk about, because there was original Prey and then there was a Prey 2 in development. Canceled it all. Now it's just Prey. What did you think of the cinematic?
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Know nothing about it.
Yeah.
Purely from what they showed me, though, it piqued my interest. Definitely. It reminded me of like Alien type of,
very psychological thriller.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, something that would make my palms sweaty while I play it. I have to leave the lights on and then probably not sleep.
Then we moved into the Doom portion of the conference with the reintroduction of Snap Map, free multiplayer DLC. They talked about the first level of Doom is available for free right now on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, I'm assuming. So if you're listening to this right now on Tuesday, June 14th, go download your free copy of Doom. I've heard the game sells itself. Still haven't gotten around to playing through the whole thing, but go grab your free demo. Then they talked about Elder Scrolls Online and launch in Japan, the Dark Brotherhood DLC.
Yeah. Again, they said there was close to they're creeping up on or past 7 million players
it's
online.
Huge. It's huge.
So it's booming.
Yeah, a lot of people love Elder Scrolls Online.
And if you're loving it, you got a lot more to bite into because they're just going to keep cranking stuff out of the park, which is exciting. It's a good time to be alive.
Definitely. For gamers, it's a great day. Great week.
It's a good time to be alive for gamers, comic book readers, comic book movie fans, Star Wars fans. What else could you want?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you what you want, but I'll tell you later.
Bethesda VR talked about Doom in VR and Fallout 4. In other words, Michael Rich is never going to leave his home. If we ever get him a VR headset and Fallout 4, he's say goodbye. Bye-bye.
Hey, when I get that Sony VR, I'm never leaving my house either. So
yeah, I'm talking about it. We you know what we should do is we should split it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Do it for the show.
Oh, my God.
This is... Oh, God.
I know.
Talk about it
we'll get there. We're going to get there.
I know.
Build the... Whoa. Holy crap. I almost just fell over on the stage.
You knocked over Indian Gandalf.
I'm sorry, Gandalf. He's got Gandalf and Indiana Jones on the table for
talk about squad.
And then to end the show, they talked about Dishonored 2, and they showed a really lengthy game trailer. Now, I've played Dishonored 1, really enjoyed it, loved the aesthetic, loved the gameplay. What did you think as someone who's not played it?
It looks really cool. I think it looks really smooth. The gameplay looks great. It looks fun. What I thought was interesting was that they offered the first one for free.
Yeah, really big deal.
So that's huge, and it's something to look forward to. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to spend money on it, but I'm a very peculiar gamer. I'm not as big of a gamer as I would say you are,
sure.
or other people that I know. But it doesn't look by any means bad.
Yeah,
it looks good.
They're continuing to go down this path that reminds me more and more of BioShock, which again we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But Dishonored 2 is it looks like it's getting what the first game did. Not necessarily bad, but the first game was definitely rough. You could tell that the first game was sort of in its early ages. Now it's a very much Assassin's Creed to Assassin's Creed 2 situation where it's Dishonored 2, I think, is going to be the perfection of this gameplay. The time travel mechanic looks awesome. I love the city that in the setting that the game takes place in. I think it's way more interesting than the industrial style of Dishonored 1. I think Emily I can't remember her last name, but whatever the main character's name is. Yeah, the daughter is totally a better character than Corvo. She just seems...
How many people do you think are going to pick Corvo over her?
I think it's... I don't know. I really honestly don't know the statistics, but I put all my characters in Destiny are female. So there's people like me who I always pick the girl when I play...
So you're more of an Ellie over Joel kind of person?
Yeah, but in that scenario, I like the story that they tell through both those characters. So it makes sense when you switch to Ellie. But, with a custom creator thing like that, I want my character...
Hey, I'm all about heroines, man.
Oh, yeah. Love them.
Heroines are where it's at right now.
And they also announced that the game is launching on November 11th, 2016. So that's Bethesda's big fall game. My question to you, John, is how did you feel the Bethesda conference went? Could you give me a rating?
Yes, I will give the Bethesda conference an 8 out of 10. Purely for the 2 points that I'm not giving it is for lengthy discussions and like gameplay footage and stuff like that about things that aren't necessarily like need to go into so much depth for. But I thought a lot of the stuff that they brought to the table was great, and I think it was structured a lot better, and all the people were more enthusiastic about it. And there was the screaming Bethesda lady who was awesome.
Hashtag Bethesda hype lady. I'd give Bethesda's conference an 8 out of 10 as well. You said 8, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think they focus on games, which is important. They have a great list of games coming up. They know how to put on a well-presented presentation, which is good. We'll also get to that in a minute about not very good presentations at hashtag EA. But Bethesda's games do, some of them speak to me, some of them don't, but I really did feel like this conference had a few games that I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'd like to get around to that. And I think that they do pander more to people like Hard as Mike. And we're mentioning him a lot, so Hard as Mike, please don't sue us.
It's not, and it's by no means a knock against him. It's
no,
just
we love Michael.
The three of us, I feel like, are different gamers.
Yeah, definitely.
And so when he's not here to defend himself, it's just going to seem like we're picking on him.
When he's not here to defend himself, we get to ram him in the ass even harder. Moving on to Xbox and the Microsoft presentation, they opened up their show with the Xbox One S being revealed. Starting at $299 for the 500 gigabyte version. It launches in August, and according to some reports, I don't know if this has been rectified yet, as of, we're recording this Monday, June 13 at 10:56, the bundle, the $299 bundle doesn't come with a controller.
Really?
Really. At least that's the reports that I've been hearing.
I mean, they didn't say anything about
They didn't say anything at the conference.
If they did, that's absolute BS.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, why not?
Unless you can use a previous Xbox One
Well, no, that's the thing is that
have.
all Xbox One controllers will work with it, but they're not selling the new Slim model with the controller.
But think about if you trade yours in to buy a Slim and you have to give the controller away.
I don't know if that's still a prerequisite, right? You could probably just trade in a
No, you usually have to have one controller.
You could still sell it on Amazon, though.
This is true. This is very true, but still, that's stupid if they don't sell a controller.
Yeah, that's really whack. They also
because they went into depth with the video where they're like new grip textures, and buttons and lights. And you can customize your controller.
Look at
you want to touch it, don't you? And now they're gonna be like, oh, by the way, you have to buy it separately. Maybe that's how they're gonna promote their customized one.
Another thing they decided to promote was Xbox Play Anywhere. With the symbol, which is the little Xbox thing with the PC thing on it, or whatever the symbol was, you have total cross-buy and cross-play with PC. Gears of War 4, of course, was the first game to show this off as a demo. And another thing I want to add about the new Slim model is that there is no dedicated Kinect port, which means that the adapter, or some sort of adapter, is needed to run Kinect, which means Microsoft has abandoned the Kinect ship.
Sometimes you just got to jump off the Titanic and go somewhere else.
This is a clear sign to me that motion controls and all this stuff is...
Thank the Lord.
It's out the window. Who cares? No one wants it anymore. Killer Instinct was shown. It's a fighting game. Did we care?
No.
Yeah, not really.
But they're bringing in somebody from the Gears of War.
Yeah, so that's cool. I still really don't care. This is the thing, was that Xbox is cool. Like, the conference was really interesting. Before Sony, I would have said that they won just because they showed a lot of good games. They had a good rhythm.
They showed the hardware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting, but we'll get to that.
Yes.
Next up was Forza Horizon 3, set in Australia. Teased with trailer and gameplay, also an Xbox Play Anywhere game, so cross-buy, cross-play with Xbox and Windows 10. What did you think about this? Are you a fan of racing games at all? Car games?
I do like car games.
Which ones have you played?
I don't buy them a lot. I've played Forza before. I don't know which one. Probably 5 or 6. They're fun. I'm not going to pay $60 for it.
Sure.
By any means. I think I got my Forza for free with my console. But it looks beautiful. It looks fun. You know, they're playing into the whole, like, you can just, like, drop a pin and your friends can jump in. Then you can race to the beach together. It's like, okay, I could do that for a night. And then I don't think I'd do it anymore.
Visuals look spectacular.
Sure.
Gameplay, still not drawing me in.
Yeah, if I want to drive a car, I'll play Arkham Knight.
Or Mario Kart.
Yeah. Which, if you can't throw a turtle shell.
No, you can't throw turtle shells. Yeah, great tweet, by the way. I love that one. Recore was shown in depth with a trailer and gameplay. Now, this is a game that I'm really excited about.
Yes.
Looks great. Looks really fun. Interesting. Like a few people on the IGN stream were talking about it. It looks very Metroidvania style. Shout out to @Radiovania. name we place a lot of our emphasis on, and as an entertainment podcast. I love the idea of these different robots giving you different abilities to get you different places on the map and finish this whole story and this quest that you're on.
For sure.
I think it's a really great idea, and I think that Keiji Inafune, even though Mighty No. 9 kind of looks terrible, I think he's a great mind, and I think that this could turn out to be a great game. So I'm looking forward to it a lot. Do you have any interest in it?
I think it's cool.
Wish it was coming to PlayStation 4.
Sure.
Final Fantasy 15 was showing up with an Xbox gameplay demo of the Trial of Titan.
Yeah, I didn't really like this part.
Didn't care for it, no. It looked kind of...
so long, and the guy kind of sucked.
Yeah, it looked
just
really...
getting his ass beat by this
It just looked
Titan.
boring. Didn't look boring, didn't look interesting at all. It kind of... I don't know, it felt samey the whole way through. I just didn't feel like it was... I don't know, anything different than what we've seen so far for... I feel like God, even the cinematic trailer was better than this, and it was just... The scale of the boss battle was really cool.
The VR trailer, I think, was even better.
Yeah, but the way they showed it off wasn't great.
Sure.
The Division Underground DLC was shown off, released June 28th, which is cool. Battlefield 1, they also showed that cinematic again. So this is round 2, right?
Round 3.
Round 3, that's right, because they showed it twice during EA.
Somehow. They're like, they must have forgot. We should show it again.
Now for business talk.
Sure.
Cortana coming to Xbox One.
Yes.
Clubs on Xbox Live, which means basically communities. So like PlayStation has already. Looking for group on Xbox Live. Finding communities.
Tournaments.
I guess. No, that would be Arena on Xbox Live, which is tournament platform. So it looks like people that are really interested in esports that aren't necessarily in the competitive scene but want to try it out on Xbox. Then they talked about Minecraft on-stage cross-platform play with iOS, PC, and Xbox. Didn't quite gather whether or not it was cross-play with PS4 yet. I think it's just between Microsoft platforms and Mac, which is weird.
Sure.
VR was also shown for Minecraft. Guy was in maybe the most awkward stage demo.
Oh my gosh, this was awful to sit
Wow, this mine looks really cool. I'm going to hang out here a little bit.
Okay, Lydia, I'm right behind you. I'll shoot this guy. You go over there.
These guys on the roof, you got them?
Watch
yeah, I
out.
got them.
Let's go get the UFO. All right, let's get out of here.
Good lord.
It was rough to sit through. It was funny though.
Minecraft is great, but that was an awful showing. Next up was the custom Xbox One controllers, which is www.xboxdesignlab.com, I guess. These look cool. We finally figured out the price, which is $80 for a custom Xbox One controller and $90 for engraving. How do you feel? How do you feel about that one? Does that compel you?
Won't be buying it. One, I don't have an Xbox. Two, that is a heinous amount of money for a controller. Heinous.
DualShock 4 is still $59.99, right?
Yeah.
What would you pay for a custom engraved DualShock 4?
$65.99.
Really?
Not much.
Oh, I'd pay $79. I'd probably pay $80. I'd probably run the same for a custom.
And as long as the controller works, I can play my game. I don't really care.
That's true. It would be a cool display thing.
I'd rather just get a sleeve or something.
That's also true. Good point.
It's just the money vacuum, just like Toys to Life games. Kirby.
We'll see. Maybe we'll see Kirby tomorrow.
Doubt it.
Inside from the Limbo developers shown, and it comes out June 29th. It looks beautiful. Lighting effects look great. Atmospheric like Limbo. Limbo is one of my favorite puzzle platformers. Have you played Limbo at all?
No.
We should play it sometime. It's on my PS4. It's a really fantastic game. Really atmospheric, really eerie and creepy. And if it's anything like that, I'm sold. The problem is that still no Xbox One over here. So I'm just going to have to wait for PS4, or I'm going to have to boot up my old Acer computer and play it on Windows, which is not really my whole thing. Lots of indies shown in a sizzle reel, including Yooka-Laylee and all this stuff. But my game for Microsoft was We Happy Few. It's coming first to Xbox One and the arcade thing on Steam. They showed a lengthy gameplay demo, which I don't think we've ever seen before, which it shows you in your office. You're this sort of conflicted character, and the whole thing centers around this society of these people that are taking this drug called joy, and it makes them happy or content with the world around,
and think that they're in paradise.
Yeah, in reality,
clearly they're not.
Yeah, and
it's creepy as hell.
Let me just say that this is. I said this on Twitter, but this is one of the most original ideas since the original BioShock, in my opinion. You're fighting these guys, it's hand-to-hand combat, really scary, sort of eerie environments.
You're running.
I'm totally sold on this. And
everyone's wearing that creepy mask.
Yeah.
The whole, the piñata thing, dude.
Oh, yeah.
The hair on the back of my neck was standing up, and, I'm not going to spoil it. You should go watch it for yourself.
Oh, yeah, go watch the game.
Because
go watch the trailer.
It has, a nice shock factor towards the end of it, but I didn't know anything about it going in, but from that little snippet onward, loved it. I can't wait to get it.
Yeah, loved it. I think that was the best trailer they showed at the Microsoft conference, at the Xbox conference. It just looks so interesting. It's such a fresh idea.
It's not Halo. It's not Battlefield 1. It's just not recycled stuff.
Next up, CD Projekt Red came to stage. Another shout to ours, Mike. I know he liked The Witcher a lot. They announced that Gwent, the card game, is coming to, I guess, consoles, but more importantly, free to play on iOS, which is a big deal. A lot of people love the card game, and again, cards show up. Tekken 7 was shown. No real attachment to Tekken, other than the fact that I played it in arcades a lot, at barcades in Cincinnati. It's a fun game. No real interest in it coming to the consoles, especially if it's an exclusive.
The one dude wearing
Xbox One exclusive
and Windows 10.
Oh yeah,
don't forget that. Xbox One and Windows 10 exclusive. The guy in the kimono was the best part of that.
Oh yeah, he was amazing.
He's just like, yeah.
At Radiovania for photos. Dead Rising 4 was shown, and a holiday 2016 release announced.
This was my second favorite part of the
interesting
conference.
To note that this is not a platform exclusive anymore. Dead Rising 3 launched the Xbox One, and it was an Xbox One exclusive. Now, it looks like Dead Rising 4 is coming to all platforms. Also thought it was great. Yeah.
Looks so fun.
Totally fun.
I will probably check this one out, to be honest.
Looked like a lot of fun. I love...
If there's Christmas music the whole time while I'm killing zombies,
jingle bells,
that is all that I want.
Jingle bell rock.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Now for another low point, in my opinion, was Scalebound.
Yeah.
This demo went on for way too long, way uninteresting. And I know that people have been hyping this game up. It's been in development for a long time. That demo was really messy. Didn't interest me at all. Did you feel...
This is the one with the guy with the headphones, right?
Yeah, guy in the headphones stabbing this giant...
Oh, God. Why won't you die?
Yeah.
Why won't this end? That's how I was feeling the whole time. It was terrible.
Sea of Thieves was shown with the cinematic trailer.
This one looked a lot of fun.
Tell me about this. How'd you feel about this?
I actually really enjoyed it. I'm a huge pirate fan.
Yeah.
I like the pirate movies, pirate games, anything piratey. And I think this looks like a really interesting and unique pirate game where you have to work together to, pilot a ship and stuff like that. And, you're fighting, you get in a gunfight with another ship, and then they blow holes in your hull, and you start sinking, and then your ship sinks, and you're out swimming in the water, and there's sharks, and there's a kraken.
The way that they presented it was really smart, having the gameplay commentary.
Teams.
Of course, it's still a little cheesy because it's not exactly how we would talk. We'd be more like, okay.
Hey, by the way, we're sinking. Yeah. These guys are like, wow, we're sinking! Guys, there's water everywhere!
I've never seen anything like this!
Oh, man, wow! I can't see the sails in my way. We'd just be like, yeah, I can't see shit. Can you tell me where I'm going? But it looks fun. I'm kind of bummed that I won't be able to play this on PlayStation 4.
Like I said...
But it's not a deal breaker for me.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I'm going to be booting up my my Acer PC, and it's powerful enough to run some games, especially games that are like this.
Exclusive to Windows 10.
Well, I mean, Pirates, whatever this is called. What's it called?
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves is like a 3D, cartoony stuff.
It looks really good, though.
It does look great.
That was probably one of the best parts of it.
It looks like I could run that on my older PC. So,
sure.
I think I might jump into that and see what it's all about. State of Decay 2 with the cinematic is shown. I know a lot of people were crazy about this, but I really didn't play it. Do you have any context?
Nope.
Halo Wars 2 in a cinematic was shown.
Also don't care.
Beta launches now. So if you have an Xbox One and you are interested in Halo Wars, go download your free beta. It's up there. See if you can get in on it. It looks cool.
Yeah, the graphics look a lot better.
Yeah.
The cinematic was pretty cool for the most part.
I enjoyed it. Still, Halo doesn't resonate with me very much.
If it's Halo 1 or Halo 2, I'm playing. If it's anything besides that, I don't really care.
They kind of lost their momentum with me. They kept releasing games, and now I don't really care. And then the biggest news, arguably, of the Xbox conference is that Project Scorpio was announced, and it's coming holiday 2017. Now, John, a lot of people have been talking about how this is... people were worried about when the PS 4.5 or the Neo got leaked, and all these people were talking about how there's going to be interstitial consoles that are going to be higher powered, they're going to be boutique items that run games at a higher resolution, higher rates, and they're going to be expensive and whatever. But, like, I felt like Microsoft handled the messaging of this really well. And even though the console is almost a year and a half out, I still felt like they understand what it is. They feel like it's a very specialty item. It's a next step. They're almost treating it like the Xbox 2 in a way.
Sure.
So how did you feel about the announcement? Did it strike you as interesting at all?
It was a really well put together media press video. It's a year and a half away, though. But it looks cool.
Yeah.
And they're hyping it up to be, the most powerful game system ever. So it's the Darth Vader of game systems.
The tech specs are astonishing, says Twitter.
Definitely.
How do you feel about the name? Do you think the name sticks?
Scorpio sounds really cool.
Do you think that sticks, though? Do you think that they keep it Project Scorpio?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's hard to sell to an average consumer.
We'll find out.
So in closing, how would you rate Microsoft's Xbox showing this year at E3?
8.5 out of 10.
I'd give it a same, 8.5. It was a good conference, a lot of great games. They showed game after game after game. They didn't really dilly-dally. They had a few lulls in there for me, but of course they were still good for some people, so it's hard for me to give it any real big negatives. I guess, I don't know, the biggest negative was...
that game where you're fighting the giant crab.
Yeah, I guess it was Scalebound.
Yeah.
Scalebound was boring. I didn't really jive with it, but...
I like the card game thing better.
So the Ubisoft conference started out with Just Dance 2017, proving that this franchise will never die. John's playing with a Han Solo action figure here at Lego. It's getting me really distracted. I want to make a special point to say that at the Ubisoft conference, the first mention of NX was here.
And the only so far.
This is weird.
Yeah.
This is really weird.
Just Dance is coming to NX, so they got 2 games.
What's really weird about it is that they mentioned it by name.
Yeah.
You would think that maybe they would say, like, coming to future Nintendo consoles, but no, they specifically said the NX.
So I guess that's a thing.
Is the NX the name of the console?
I don't know.
Whatever this is, it's weird, because, like...
Ubisoft had some weird stuff in there.
They started the press conference with a dancing giraffe.
And this conference was long.
2 hours
This
long.
was the X-Men apocalypse of conferences. Where, like, there's some good stuff, and then there's just, like, some stuff where it's like, this is taking so long.
A great analogy. That was awesome.
Thank you.
They started off, after Just Dance, they started with Ghost Recon Wildlands, and they showed an extended gameplay demo.
Extended. Emphasis on extended.
Yeah, that gameplay demo was like 20 minutes long.
It was so long.
I didn't find it very good. It was fine.
It was interesting. It looks fun.
The world
I
was
don't need to
interesting.
watch 20 minutes of it.
No, definitely don't need to watch 20 minutes of
but
it.
hey, if the worst thing we're doing is complaining about extended gameplay footage, then we live in a very blessed world, which we do. So
That's true.
It looks really cool.
Yeah,
there was 2 Tom Clancy games, actually, with this. Another one was Division, right?
Yeah. The world looks great. Gameplay, not so much. It looks kind of stale to me. Like, the world just... I mean, the world looks
That's just
beautiful.
kind of how Tom Clancy games are.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's just bad news for them. Like, I think sooner or later people are just going to get tired of that. If there's a Tom Clancy game in a big Tom Clancy release every year, like for the past 2 years, I think people are going to start to realize that these games are kind of samey.
Sure.
Next up was my favorite Ubisoft game of the show, South Park: The Fractured But Whole. What can I say about this, man? It was awesome.
It was great.
It was
really
funny.
great.
It was well written. The timing was great. Having Matt Stone and Trey Parker come out during the conference was great. Sometimes guest, star appearances i.e., Zac Efron and whatever his name was, Jamie Foxx at the EA show was just awkward
guys ready
as
to play?
hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
High five, man.
Where's my check?
Go. But this seemed really good. You can tell that Parker and Trey are
Passionate.
they're passionate about the game and they want it to be good. They obviously had a lot of hands-on with the first game, and they do the voices, for crying out loud. So they know what this game is all about. They know what it should be, and the comedy is totally like an episode of South Park. Yeah. I totally dug it.
Yeah, and they're giving you the first game for free.
Stick of Truth is free with pre-order, and it looks like it's good until like December of this year. So I don't know when exactly that goes, but if you are looking to get the Fractured But Whole, go pre-order it, and you'll get a free copy of the PS4 and Xbox One version of Stick of Truth. I believe it's platform exclusive. So if you pre-order it on PS4, you get the PS4 version, Xbox One version, obviously. The game also released on December 6th, 2016.
Merry Christmas.
Way sooner than I would have thought, which is awesome. So
yeah, definitely.
Oh my God. The Division Survival. They talked about some DLC. I kind of toned out.
Yeah, this is when I started looking on my iPad at comics.
The Division is very successful. It's just that the DLC is not interesting me. I don't think I'm ever going to jump into the Division. I missed the window. It was fun. It's like Overwatch. Everyone's going to stop playing that in about a month and a half, and we'll move on to the next thing. Eagle Flight VR. They had a bunch of guys come up on stage and demo this. What did you think about this, John?
I didn't like it.
It seemed fun, but like the demo was just too long.
Those eagles, when it shut up, you attack by screaming at other eagles, and it got really annoying really fast. And this was like an 8 to 9 minute
really
video.
Fast.
I mean, sure, it looks cool, but I'm not gonna get it.
No way. Speaking of VR, with the Ubisoft conference, they brought out LeVar Burton and Carl Urban. Shout out. Round of applause. Can we get a little bit of round of applause for Carl Urban? Love him. But LeVar Burton was the main star for the show. They brought him out for the bridge demo for VR. They showcased the whole way that it would work with the team and how, you strap into the VR helmets and you talk with each other. It's actually a really cool idea, even though I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan. I think that's a really smart way to use VR. I think that
definitely,
the Bird game.
Some people are going to go absolutely ballistic for this.
Oh yeah, there's Trekkies out there that are going to lose.
Like,
their
and
life
I mentioned
for
this when we were watching it. Like, if there was a VR where we were in the cockpit of Star Wars ships, that'd be awesome. Maybe there will be someday.
Maybe, just maybe. But I think this is a clear way of showing bad VR and good VR. Of course, the Eagle Flight game is going to be fun if you're playing it with a bunch of your friends, but to see it on stage, it's like totally not interesting.
All these people were just like, oh, wow.
I totally
Oh, no, I got knocked out of the sky. I lost the flag.
That game would totally be fun if you and me were playing it, but like to watch it on stage, we're just like, all right.
I feel like that's how a lot of VR is.
Yeah, it's hard to show
gameplay
VR.
Demo with VR where people are just wearing headsets. It's just kind of weird.
Then they took quite the left turn and showed the For Honor cinematic and gameplay demo, and the game releases February 14th. Now, I saw this game last year at the conference. I believe it was at UB's conference last year, too. What did you think of the game?
It looked interesting. It's just fighting. A lot of fighting.
Team Viking.
Team Viking for me, definitely. Followed by Team Samurai, and then I've played as the night before. So,
yeah. Do you think does this have the makings of the next big Ubisoft franchise? Because I really don't think so.
No, definitely not.
It's got a bad name. For Honor's a bad name.
I don't know how this game's going to get received when it comes out. I'm expecting mediocre reception. But
Next up,
that Viking dude looks awesome.
Oh yeah, totally awesome. Next up was Grow Up, which is a sequel to Grow Home, which is an indie game that was released by the UB Art Studios. It was free on PlayStation Plus. It's a fun game. Didn't spend too much time with it. I found the controls really obtuse and frustrating, so I didn't really ever finish the original game, but maybe they've tweaked it. It looks pretty. Love Bud. Next up was Trials of the Blood Dragon, which is a sort of spin-off to an already spin-off game for Far Cry 3, which is Blood Dragon. Looks like not 2D, maybe like 2.5D side-scroller, like arcade-y sort of racing game. It looks crazy, but right now it's available for $19.99, $14.99 for PS Plus members with the soundtrack on your console of choice. It's a digital download game. It looks like a lot of fun. Actually looks a lot like Joe Danger. If I was more attached to the Blood Dragon universe, I would buy it and download it, but I think I'm just going to stick to watching some gameplay for it.
Sure.
See the reviews.
Yeah.
Next up, they brought out, can you remind me of this gent's name?
Frank Marshall.
Frank Marshall for the Assassin's Creed movie trailer and behind-the-scenes footage. Now, what did you think of this segment?
I think Frank Marshall wasn't necessarily wanting to do it. I don't think Frank Marshall wanted to do it. He just seemed kind of dry when he's there. I love him. He's a producer of a lot of my favorite franchises. Such
Well, you
as
didn't
Indiana
make it clear
Jones.
until you didn't. I didn't know until the conference started that you were like, oh, by the way, this is a really important guy, and I was like, oh, really? I had no
and
idea.
she's like, oh, you've been a producer on Indiana Jones and Back to the Future
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So he's been around for a while. He didn't psych me for the movie a whole lot more than it's still kind of there, But it was an interesting segment.
Do you think he added anything to the press conference? No. Yeah, I really don't think his presence was necessary. I also didn't think the behind the scenes or any of the extra trailer stuff was really necessary.
It was
for
like
Assassin's
the same
Creed.
trailer, but then they show how they filmed the trailer.
I think it was them trying to make up for the fact that there was no Assassin's Creed, which also, segue into my prediction, I lost out on Assassin's Creed 1 to 3 Assassin's Creed 1 through 3 remaster being shown. I thought that was a slam dunk. There's no Assassin's Creed
Assassin's Cream.
Yeah.
That sounds delicious.
There's no Assassin's Creed game this year, so what better to do than remaster the old games and just let's make an easy money grab for people that like Assassin's Creed. But instead they opted for this 15-minute behind the scenes thing with this direct. It was just
with the director and Fassbender, and
didn't find it any way particularly exciting. Second to last game, the penultimate game, as some would say, was Watch Dogs 2, which they gave an extended demo for. Now, I watched the leaks. I saw some of the things. What did you think about the game?
It looks cool. I mentioned this while it was going on. It reminded me a lot of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Taking a lot of hints from that GTA.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
But it looks really fun.
Definitely.
It looks like it runs really smoothly. I didn't play Watch Dogs the first time. I
never played the game all the way through.
I don't even know if I'll get this one, but it looks like it's going to be a good game.
Yeah,
definitely.
Looks good. The parkour looks a lot better.
The parkour looks good. The story seems like it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And then the setting is great.
Love San Francisco. I love that city. It's one of my favorite cities I've ever been in. And
California knows how to party.
And to recreate an entire city like that with the depth that they have, it seems like a good time. I'm just my biggest problem with Watch Dogs 1, and I didn't play the whole thing because I just thought the story was god awful. So if they can really turn it around and make the story for Watch Dogs 2 good, I might jump back into it. But they made a big enough thing about Watch Dogs 2 to say that Sony and Ubi are partnering up again for a Watch Dogs movie.
Cool.
Whatever, man.
You could have done an Uncharted movie.
Attention, Sony. Dedicate all assets to an Uncharted film. Thank you. This is the end of your public service announcement by Radiovania.
What's up, guys? It's Zach.
They also announced that PlayStation players get a 30-day DLC first access to the Watch Dogs DLC. So if you're excited about this game, a lot of good news for you if you're a Sony player. And then they ended the conference with Steep. Steep.
This is actually, the more that I think about it, the more I really like Steep.
Yeah, it was interesting. Maybe not my favorite game of the conference. Obviously, there's way better games to come, but they showed a lot of just
fun stuff.
Yeah,
it just looks fun.
The demo seemed like you and me would have fun dicking around and just talking to each other.
Yeah,
on
I mean, and we mentioned it. If this was a $20 game or a free PS Plus game down the road, I could see myself having a good couple weeks playing this game. Just have fun, hanging out with a bunch of people, trying to see who can do that as many flips off of a cliff as you can on a snowboard.
The problem is that the world looks beautiful. and the gameplay looks really finely tuned.
So it's going to be expensive.
It's going to be a $60 retail game.
Yep.
And if they do it in VR, $70 or more, depending on what they decide to charge for it. But that was the Ubisoft conference in general. How would you rate the conference? Because I would give it a 7 out of 10. Maybe 6.5, 7.
I'm going to stick with a 7.
7 out of 10. It was an average conference. They showed a few good games I was really interested about, but it was too long. There was too much stuff going on. They should have cut it down by 30 minutes, maybe even an hour, and they could have just shown like the highlights of what they needed to tell us, because
it was so long.
As much as I love it, Aisha Tyler kind of bullshitting around and Matt Stone and Trey Parker being interviewed for 15 minutes, it's like at a certain point you need to show games, show more, show gameplay. And that's where we will succeed with Sony. John?
Yes?
Now for the biggest moment
of our lives.
Maybe of our lives, definitely for our day.
It's definitely the day. Life, maybe not.
This might be the coolest moment this month for me. If I think about it.
For the month? Yeah. Force Awakens is a big deal, though.
The past year.
Yeah.
Past year I've had a lot of stuff happen. Cool stuff. Cool concerts.
Is up there, though, with like one of the best hours ever.
I would agree.
On like television or anything. Like it was just like one after the other, after the other, after the other. I was just like, $60. Just take all my money.
Bleed me dry. Turn it off. I'm dry.
Seriously.
Sony's press conference, of course, we're talking about, aired at 9 o'clock on Monday, June 13th, 2016. John, this conference was bonkers.
It's amazing.
Bonkers! To start everything off, an orchestra opens the show to an orchestral theme, and you and me are sitting on the couch just like jaws agape, wondering like, what is this? Is this Final Fantasy?
Beautiful.
And then you made the astute point. You were like, I bet this is God of War. And I was like, the more I thought about it, I was like, you know what? That's a smart way to open the conference. And it turns out that you were right. So give me a high five. God of War opened the show, but not God of War 4.
Just God of War.
God of War. So this is officially a reboot or a re-envisioning of the series. This is God of War. This is the first God of War game since Ascension on PS4. And oh my God, was this maybe the most astonishing thing I've ever seen from a Sony conference. Holy crap.
Yeah, it was and we were talking earlier, so like we're kind of hypocrites because we're talking earlier about things being too long. This was 10 minutes of God of War gameplay, but it was 10 exciting minutes, and it wasn't 10 minutes of people talking about stuff that you can't see. This was them just showing you.
There were no lulls. There were no like slowdowns in the conversation. It was just action, 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 action. And it made, from the beginning, I was like, when it showed the kid, he was like sharpening the sword or whatever, and he was like hanging out of the bow. I was like, oh shit, this is going to be Horizon. This is going to be the extended Horizon tape. And then when Kratos walks in the shadow, I was like, oh my God. And he's wearing a beard.
Looks awesome.
He's got a beard. And I was like, this is unbelievable. This is so cool. I was like, I love God of War. This is going to be so great. So happy they're kicking off the conference with this. And then something weird happened. They pulled the camera back, and it was like God of War has always been this game where it's like it's a 3D, not third person, but like a top-down sort of action adventure game where you're swinging these big blades and attacking a ton of enemies at one time. It's bigger than Batman. Imagine if Batman was pulled back even more and you were fighting like on this giant plane. What this God of War PS4 demo did was that they zoomed it in. You're right above shoulder length. You're following Kratos, and it's like...
It's off-centered, too.
It's a whole different game. Yeah, exactly.
It's like a cinematic experience.
It's like Uncharted 4. It's like The Last of Us. It's like The Order. It's more... It's tight. It's tighter. It's smaller. It's less grandiose. It's not this giant thing where you're climbing this giant titan, although I'm sure that's going to be in there. But you're following this character, and it's a way more intimate story. Kratos isn't just like yelling and Calliope and like screaming about nonsense. He's got his son, and it's a really...
He's got a human side.
Yeah, he's got a human... I can't tell you, like, as a PlayStation fan who's following PlayStation for years, how weird this was, but satisfying, because the whole time this demo was going on, I was like, there's going to be some people out there that are like, what are you doing to Kratos? What are you doing to God of War?
God of War.
Exactly. But in the end, this is what God of War needs to do to evolve into a mature franchise, because God of War was always a beat-em-up, and now it can be a story-driven experience, like The Last of Us, like Uncharted, like Horizon, like Bloodborne, like all of these great games that Sony Entertainment hangs their hats on as being exclusives. If there was anything to open the conference up with, God of War was it. This is my game of the show. This is the most exciting game for me. And I know that says a lot, because there's a lot of great announcements coming up on this Sony show. But God of War just hit me. It struck a chord in me where I was like, God of War has always been fun to play, but it's never been an engaging story. Now I get fun gameplay and an engaging story. My expectations for this game are miles high, because if this game is bad, I'm going to be shocked. This is like game of the year caliber stuff. Also, I'm sad because there's no way we see this in 2017.
Nope.
No way. This is a 2018 game. They're showing this early, which also makes me sad, because I wish that it was one of those things where it's like, hey, here's the game and it's coming out this year. Be excited, like Fallout style, but for God of War, I'm willing to wait, because whatever they showed us, what they managed to do with that game is unthinkable.
Make it perfect.
In my opinion, since Sony came out and trounced Microsoft when they revealed the Xbox One and PlayStation revealed the PS4, and they talked about how there's going to be no DRM, you can share your games with everyone, no online access, all this stuff, like, we are PlayStation. We're for the gamers. There has not been a moment like this since then for me. And as a PlayStation fan, this was fucking awesome. Tirade over. Woo! How'd you feel about it? Give me your thoughts.
It was great. Everything that he said. I'll buy it. I want to throw an axe into somebody's head.
The Last Guardian was then shown. Unfortunately for us, we had a bit of stream problems. We had some cutting in and out of our video stream on the IGN app on PS4, but we luckily got to catch it at the very end where they revealed the release date, October 25th, 2016. Now, this is a big deal because this game has been 10 years in the making. Last Guardian is a huge deal, and it's exciting that it's coming out this year. I will definitely be playing it, and we'll definitely have a review for the Radiovania audience when that game comes out. Horizon Zero Dawn, they showed an extended gameplay demo. Also, again, because of stream problems, it was a little fuzzy. We had to jump in and out. But what'd you think of the gameplay?
It looks really fun.
Yeah.
It looks very... it looks like it runs smoothly, and it has to be very precise and stuff like that. So it's going to be something that can be kind of challenging, which is interesting.
I also appreciate...
And I think the world looks really interesting.
Definitely. I also really appreciate the reliance on the bow and arrow, because too often in games now it's like, the bow and arrow is such a secondary weapon, but now it's like your prime focus. So I'm excited to see how they use that in different ways.
Sure.
Next up was Detroit Become Human, which is, of course, is the next highly anticipated game from Quantic Dream, makers of Beyond Two Souls and Heavy Rain, which are heavily story-driven games. I never played Beyond Two Souls because of its lukewarm reviews, but Heavy Rain was an excellent game on PS3. Story-driven, almost Telltale-ish, but a little bit more in-depth. You have more choices to decide from. As someone who's never played a Quantic Dream game, what did you get from this trailer? Tell me about it.
This trailer was really well put together.
Yeah.
It was a very interesting premise, and I was completely absorbed into the entire trailer.
What do you think about the multiple choice sort of environment?
I liked it. It can make or break you, which is exciting. I'll probably get broken because I make bad decisions, but it looks like a really interesting game. I had no idea what it was about.
What I like about these kind of games is that you pick your story and you go through, and so it's like make or break. It's going to break you or whatever.
Yeah.
That Connor, shout out to Connor.
I like the guy.
I know. I was thinking about that the whole time too. But I was like, yeah, that Connor is going to be my Connor. I'm not going to try. The thing is that the Heavy Rain Platinum is notoriously one of the hardest Platinums to get on PS3 because you have to play the game so many times to get every ending and every permutation. I don't think I'm going to have the stamina. I think it's going to be one of those things where it's like, this is my Connor, this is my gameplay, this is my story. I'm in, I'm out. You know?
Sure.
I thought it was a really well put together trailer too, and I'm looking forward to it. I love Quantic Dream. Next up was Resident Evil 7, January 24th, 2017. Also confirmed for full PlayStation VR compatible. What did you think of this trailer, John?
Terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely horrifying in every way possible. Thought for a second there they might have been teasing Silent Hills. Also, that'll come up again a little bit. Yeah. But Resident Evil looks great. That series is in dire need of a refresh. The last 2 games have been kind of bad. Nobody's really enjoyed them. But Capcom has stated that they're going back to their horror roots, and that trailer looked horrifying. So if Resident Evil 7 is anything as scary as that trailer, especially in VR, count me in. Sounds awesome. How do you feel about those horror VR games?
I can't do them. I'll pee myself.
Next up, Sean Layden came back to the stage and talked a little business for us. PSVR talk specifically. October 13th launch for PSVR, $399 US dollars. We haven't really talked about this on Radiovania so far, but do you think that $399 is a fair price for a VR unit?
It's a lot of money. But if it's as cool as some of these games are being hyped up to be, I think it could be worth it.
Compared to things like the Oculus Rift, that's $599, and the HTC Vive, which is $799.
Yeah.
I think PSVR is a total shoo-in for the contender for the most important VR headset.
Sure.
Because
and it's closest, too.
Yeah. And everyone has the capability to run it. You just need a PlayStation 4. Mm-hmm. There's millions of these things out in the wild, and there are not that many high-definition PC rigs out there for people to buy. And so I think that PSVR is totally the shoe-in for the most accessible VR unit. And I think Resident Evil being VR, I think... I mean, every PlayStation 4 game is playable in VR through theater mode, and I think that's totally exciting. Like, imagine playing God of War on this VR. Oh my god, like, it's just making me so excited. So the next VR game shown off was Farpoint. It's assuming it's like a space kind of marine exploratory sort of game.
Interstellar.
Yeah, it looked cool. Nothing too memorable. In fact, I didn't remember it when we were going through our list. The world looks beautiful. I'm sure it's going to look great in PSVR. Next up was Star Wars Battlefront X-Wing VR mission trailer. Now, John, this is the first time I heard you audibly orgasm during the conference.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk?
Guys.
Would you like to talk about what you thought about this VR demo?
Oh my gosh, dude! I can't wait for this. I was screaming, I was crying, I was like, yeah. It's not long. It was not a long trailer, but it was just everything. It shows you everything that you need to know.
38 seconds.
You get to pilot an X-Wing and shoot TIE fighters, and it's going to feel like you're in that X-Wing.
What do you think about the connection to Battlefront? Does this worry you at all as someone who was unsatisfied with
I think if you just keep branching out Battlefront, stuff like that, so it's like Battlefront 2, this is a branch of Battlefront that's only VR driven, stuff like that. I think that's a great idea. I can't wait. I've been waiting for a Star Wars flight simulator like this. I think this is perfect. It looks beautiful. It looks fun. I really just want a VR so I could play this and the game that they showed right after this, which I was just like, this is like the best minute and a half of my life.
What do you think this game is going to cost? As someone who, like we said, was also lukewarm about the Battlefront sort of, $60 for somewhat of an incomplete game and then $50 for DLC that we don't feel was necessarily needed. How do you feel about this game? What do you think it's going to cost?
What are normal prices for VR games right now?
No one really knows. They can range anywhere from $15 on... PSVR hasn't been released yet, but for Oculus, games can range from like $10 to $15 to $60. So
I would say this game's probably like $39.99, and I'll buy it. I think, I think it's called X-Wing Missions, but I think there'll be other type of like flight simulator stuff involved in this game, including like Battle of Hoth.
You will see some A-Wings?
Like A-Wings, B-Wings, Y-Wings, maybe the Falcon, stuff like that. I'm ready for it. I just want it. I want it now, and I can't wait to play it.
So speaking of VR, the next VR trailer that Sony showed
which is even better than the one that I just got done talking about, and I almost cried the whole time.
Featuring Mark Hamill's Joker, the Batman...
With lines from The Killing Joke.
The Batman Arkham VR trailer.
Oh my gosh.
With clocking in around 1 minute and 2 seconds. John, as our resident comics expert on Radiovania, tell me what this trailer is. Tell me about it. What does this mean?
The trailer, if you just listen to it, is more of what it's about. it's just them talking about like their Arkham isn't done, and you see the logos: DC, Warner Brother Games, Rocksteady. It's the same people, the same cast. Hopefully, I'm assuming they got Kevin Conroy involved with this. They have Mark Hamill involved.
Mark
with this.
Hamill's there,
and
man.
if he's there, I'm there. You know what I mean? I'm excited for this so much. I can't wait to immerse myself as Batman. They show the lights of the mask light up at the end. That shows you, like, you're going to be in Batman's mask and you're going to be talking to people. So I'm going to be talking to people, but the voice coming out of my mouth is Kevin Conroy, which is all that I want.
John is never going to leave his home.
No, I won't. And if this is just, like, if it's just me walking around Arkham Asylum talking to people for, like, however many hours this game is, take all my money. I'll pay for it. That sounds incredible.
The game is coming in October 2016, which is around the same time that PSVR launches. So could it be a launch game?
Yeah, definitely. And it's going to be a purchase.
We'll definitely have to have a Radiovania business meeting about this, but I think a PSVR purchase is in our future.
With this game. And if you don't want to buy it, I will.
No,
because, like, imagine if it's just, like, imagine if I'm sitting down playing this game, wearing this VR set, and across the table from me is Mark Hamill's Joker, and he's talking to me, and I'm interrogating him. Oh my gosh. I'm fully erect.
Next up was Final Fantasy 15. They showed a little bit more gameplay, more than they did at Microsoft's conference, but they also confirmed that there will be a VR component. Not really specific about what exactly the VR component will be, but they did confirm that it's there.
Woo!
Yeah, woo, who cares?
Yeah.
I know that I've got a lot of friends out there. Shout out to Ann Deacon, who's really excited about Final Fantasy 15. I am going to play it. I'm going to buy it. Not excited about it. Like, I hope that this is the one that draws me in and makes me interested in this world. But so far, Final Fantasy has not grabbed me. Next up was the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare demo, which showcased some dogfights in space.
Yes.
Also some sick-ass grappling hook action on a battlefield.
Fighting without gravity.
I thought this was really interesting.
Sure. The best part about this was the follow-up to it, which is the HD Special Edition Modern Warfare trailer.
Exactly.
Which looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks beautiful.
And I wish they were releasing as a way to purchase it on its own.
Honestly, a part of me, like a part of my soul, feels like this is an eventuality. Is that they're going to say, like, thank you to everyone who supported us when you bought Infinite Warfare and the Modern Warfare Remaster as a bundle, but we've decided to open it up to a bigger audience. Now you can just buy a Modern Warfare Remaster.
With Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3.
Not happening. But I do think that the Modern Warfare Remaster is going to be sold on its own.
I hope so, because I would buy that.
It's just that game. It's not this year.
With all those multiplayer maps, I mean, that's some fun multiplayer memories for me. And I'm not a big FPS guy, so.
Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 are essential multiplayer games.
Oh, definitely.
Next up, John, is one of the most arguably biggest piece of news from the conference, from the entire weekend, and we'll see if Nintendo even scratches the surface of this announcement tomorrow during their Nintendo Treehouse live stream. Crash Bandicoot makes an appearance at the conference. People said they were crazy. Naughty Dog was crazy for having the game in Uncharted 4. People said it was crazy that they're going to have it in Skylanders, but here you go. Crash Bandicoot, Crash 2, and Crash Warped are being remastered for the PS4. Oh my god. It happened. It happened. I can't believe it happened. This is huge news. Like,
Naughty Dog is the king.
Naughty Dog knows what's up. I do not think it's Naughty Dog developing these, though.
No.
But it is awesome.
We gotta throw them props at least once per podcast.
Yeah, it's awesome that Activision, whatever the deal was that Sony and Activision got together, that they were able to get the rights for Crash Bandicoot to put them on the console in remastered form. Praise be to the saints, because this is a day one purchase for all of these for me. Like, Crash Bandicoot is not the best game ever, but it's so fun.
Yeah.
And those epitomize the PlayStation 1 in the platforming space that it was. And so if they're able to put even half of the care that Ratchet and Clank got for the PS4, totally satisfied. And this is a huge announcement. This is arguably one of the biggest announcements of E3 this year, is Crash Bandicoot coming to the PS4. What do you think about this?
I'm excited, just like you. It'll probably be a day one purchase for me as well. Crash Bandicoot, I have fond memories of playing down on the original PlayStation at my aunt's house. It's just a fun game, just a lovable a lovable piece of video game history, and it's nice to see it get some new justice.
Next up, the LEGO Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, was shown in more gameplay.
It was more of a cinematic.
Yeah, there was some gameplay scattered in there, but what'd you think about the trailer? As a resident Star Wars fan.
I liked it. They're still playing into the whole having the voice thing where they just play the sound clips from the movies along with the characters. It looks fun. I'm obviously going to buy it. Like I said, if you throw Star Wars on a piece of shit, I'll eat it. But, I mean, it just looks great. Lego games are fun. This was the first big Lego game, was Lego Star Wars, and I played all of them except for the one that was Clone Wars based, just because I wasn't a huge Clone Wars fan. But I am a huge Force Awakens fan, so I'm looking forward to this game a lot. And I know you and I are about to go dive into that in 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Well, by the way, the demo is out right now.
And we're about
PS4
to play that
Xbox
when this
One.
is done, so let's hurry up.
As soon as this we're about to jump into that Force Awakens.
I want to fly that Falcon.
The next big piece of news is that Hideo Kojima is in the house. Now, this is a big deal because after shit went down with Konami and Hideo left Konami, there was a bunch of drama about Metal Gear Solid 5. They took his name off the box. They took his name off the credits. Big deals, like a huge falling out between Konami and Hideo Kojima. And as you know, well, you may or may not know this, but the Radiovania account does not follow Konami just because of all this. Hideo Kojima is a well-respected figure in the video games industry. He makes great stories, and even though I'm not the biggest Metal Gear fan, I understand his prowess in the video games world. He is at the Sony conference. He has an exclusive partnership with PlayStation. There's going to be an exclusive PlayStation game coming from Hideo Kojima, and that game is Death Stranding. Not the best name ever, I'll give it. But that trailer was really interesting, and it, of course, starred Norman Reedus, who was supposed to be the star of the Silent Hills game, the PT demo that was infamously released to PlayStation 4 and then removed from the store after the fallout between Konami and Hideo. Whatever this game is, you got me sold. I am not a huge...
beautiful.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous. I'm not a huge fan of Norman Reedus, but
creepy, though.
If they're able to capture the essence of that PT demo, if they're going for that atmosphere, count me so in. Did you play any of PT? We have to play a little bit of it. Just because that game is superb. It is the best horror game ever, and it's a demo. It's a demo. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm so ready. Play that. Is that play it? Yep.
Now we move on to arguably the biggest piece of news, aside from Crash Bandicoot, aside
it looks so good.
Aside from PSVR, aside from God of War, Sony's conference just kept giving. It's the Christmas. Give me a hug. We're gonna have a hug across this conference table. So what came up next was the Spider-Man PS4 E3 2016 teaser trailer, which showed glimpses of New York City, and quite possibly the most exciting thing I think I've ever seen.
And your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man with this dope-ass suit.
So, John, as a Spider-Man fan, what did you think about this trailer? Give me your spiel. Rant.
Day one purchase. I'm gonna buy this. I'm gonna play it. Look at this. It's beautiful. It is a gorgeous trailer. Check it out.
God.
It looks so smooth. It looks so fun.
God.
The gameplay mechanics. I mean, Spider-Man is one of the most athletic superheroes. It's just the way he moves, the way he does things, the way he fights is incredible. He's flipping all over the place. He's using his webs. He's pounding people into the ground. I mean, it just looks so much fun. I just want to play it forever, and I can't wait to get it. And it looks so cool, and he's got the eye things from Civil War, and oh gosh, Spider-Man. If there is an answer to Batman Arkham games, it's Spider-Man games.
This is a match made in heaven.
Yes.
Insomniac is one of the best developers. I want to live inside this gameplay demo.
In this game.
What do you think about the suit? What do you think about the white suit? This doesn't look like the suit from Spider-Man, from Civil War.
Yeah. No, it's just, I mean, who cares? It's Spider-Man, dude. Like, he could be naked for all I care. I mean, he's flipping on cars and he's webbing people out of them, and he's Spider-Man.
This looks so good.
It looks like the best Spider-Man game ever, and there's been a lot, and some of them have hit, sort of, and some of them have been completely off. This looks like it could be amazing.
Oh, my God.
And they don't even have a title for it yet, so we get to look for whatever the title is. Right now, it's just hashtag Spider-Man PS4, which is a fine title, because I'm still going to buy it.
So who is this guy in the mask? I want to know that.
I think it's just a guy.
You think it's just a guy?
Yeah.
Because like they do a couple zooms in.
I don't think they're going to show any like major villains right now. It looks like some type of gang.
Okay.
That he's taking down. Hopefully the Green Goblins in this game are Doc Ock.
Does this suit, is this reminiscent of any specific Spider-Man series or anything, or is it just
the way that the mask is designed reminds me a lot of the Civil War Spider-Man, which reminds me again of the early 60s cartoon Spider-Man, stuff like that. It doesn't remind me of anything, which means that they have a blank space to make an amazing Spider-Man game and an amazing Spider-Man story, which I am all for.
And then, sadly, the Sony E3 press conference, the PlayStation conference, ended with Days Gone, the official gameplay from Sony Bend, who is the studio behind from Uncharted Golden Abyss on the PS Vita, and they finally have their big budget console exclusive game for PS4. What did you think about the gameplay reveal?
It looks cool. It looks like The Last of Us 0.5.
Definitely got some strong Last of Us impressions there. Unfortunately, didn't get the same grab that it did from Last of Us. Not as good of a story, but maybe the gameplay definitely seems there.
It's like World War Z meets The Last of Us meets Splinter Cell. I don't even know.
It definitely looks like stressful.
It's
like
too
Last
stressful.
Of Us.
I was getting stressed out watching it.
Seriously,
there's just like this horde of zombies. This guy keeps turning and burning. I'm just like, dude, just run.
The thing is
get
that
in the car
maybe
and
that's
run.
What's weird is that maybe that's the way you have to fight these guys, because like maybe you
can't
have
run.
to keep them down. Maybe
you have to kill a couple.
It totally looks interesting. I believe in Bend. One of my predictions before going into this was that I thought that their game was going to be revealed and it was going to be a letdown. I do think that this is actually a pretty good reveal. It does strike me as a lot of Last of Us similarities, homage, if you were, but it definitely has its own unique sort of sense of style, and I can't wait to see the final game and more gameplay. This game is also very far out. I'd say maybe holiday of next year we'll get to see this. But
at least we got Batman VR to wait.
Batman VR. But John, before we get to our predictions and our scores, rate the Sony conference for me. Give me your summary. Give me your summary.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Give me more of a summary.
It's a 10 out of 10.
Okay, so what are your bullet points?
Okay.
What are your highlights?
They didn't spend too much time talking about boring stuff. They show you game after game after game. Then they show you VR, and they show you VR game after game after game after game. All things that you want to see. None of it was disappointing. All of it was at least semi-interesting or incredible. This was the one that had the most games that I was actually interested in playing. Not to say that the other ones aren't interesting to some other people, but you got heavy hitters like Batman, Spider-Man, Star Wars, Crash Bandicoot. You have all these things. And the way it was structured, it was in an hour. It didn't take too long. The orchestra was amazing.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Everybody was into it.
The stage was classy and well set up. It wasn't
They even
flashy.
had time to fit in the families of Orlando and our thoughts in Paris. They had a perfect conference. And it was incredible.
Sony knows how to do it.
Yeah.
This is why, no hate on Microsoft. I love anybody that makes a game is good in my eyes, because video games are one of the things that makes me really passionate in my life. And Sony just knows how to make you excited about their games. Microsoft made me excited, but at the end of the conference, I honestly forgot about some of these things. I forgot about Scalebound, and I forgot about all this stuff, but Sony left such an impression on me. This is the best video game conference I've seen since the console wars, when we saw PS4 duke it out against Xbox One. And oh my God, game after game, things that you want to play. And John, say hello to my wallet, because
it's gonna take
gone.
a heavy hit, especially if we're about to buy a VR in a couple months. We got Lego Star Wars in 2 weeks. I got Arkham Knight in a month after that.
Oh God!
Or Return to Arkham, and then if they're still doing a Game of the Year, Batman Arkham, I'm not gonna be able to afford that. But I'm gonna want to get Arkham VR. And then we got all these games coming out on the holidays. Thank God Christmas is coming up, because I can push some of those on the Christmas list. But yeah, I mean, hey guys. If you're listening to this, help us out. We need some money so we can talk about some of these games coming up, because we're going to be poor.
If you want to donate, send us a check to Don't do that.
No.
Don't send us money.
But you can Venmo us.
If you were to score E3 2016 so far, what would you give it?
Overall?
Oh, yeah.
Including everything?
Everything.
8.5 to 9 out of 10.
Honestly, I'm going to go 9.5. I think this is as perfect of a year as you can get it. Yeah, there's been some lulls in the conferences, but mostly...
I think Sony is the heavy hitter, but otherwise, I mean, it was kind of just indifferent.
Yeah. But we'll come back tomorrow after we see the Nintendo Treehouse and we'll give our thoughts and feelings on Zelda.
I'm a big Nintendo guy, so
we'll see exactly
get some
what
tears with Zelda tomorrow.
But that is your thoughts and feelings so far for E3 Day 0 and 1. We'll be back tomorrow with Nintendo. And we're back with Radiovania, episode number 19, your nerded public radio for everything entertainment and pop culture. This is our E3 Super Show. This is the second part of the E3 Super Show, and this morning and into the afternoon, we've been watching Nintendo's Treehouse stream. But speaking about E3, the dust is kind of settled on yesterday's presentations. Our gin-soaked bodies have been through an entire bag of frozen French fries. How are we feeling about yesterday and the conferences so far? Have you been satisfied?
Yes, definitely.
Not talking about Nintendo yet.
Definitely satisfied.
Yeah. So you don't think that the hype was in the moment? You think that you think that Sony's pretty much just kicked the shit out of everybody?
Absolutely.
Yep. Waking up today it was like going through the PS4 subreddit is basically like Christmas.
Yeah, definitely.
So many games, so many trailers, so many great things to talk about.
And a lot of them are coming out around Christmas or before, so.
Lots of money going to be spent, unfortunately.
Spend that money.
Have mercy on our wallets, Sony.
We might have to, split up the games and then share them.
Yeah, and then they announced that right now on the PlayStation Network, they're doing a Best of E3 sale, so you can get great games. I'm going to go pick up Shadow of Mordor Game of the Year edition for $10. Kind of hard to beat that. And a lot of other great games. There's going to be some Tom Clancy stuff I saw in there, some Call of Duty, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But we've been watching Nintendo's Treehouse stream, which started this morning at around... What time did it start?
Noon.
Around noon. And basically, they opened up the conference with the first official trailer, for The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild.
So, I was right in my prediction that Zelda was given an official title. Of course, I was wrong in that my prediction of the title was not.
Breath of the Wild. Yours is Rebirth of Hyrule.
Rebirth of Hyrule. I like Breath of the Wild. I think it's interesting.
I love the logo.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent of old Zelda games.
What did you think of the trailer in bulk?
I like the trailer a lot. It's just awe-inspiring. Just kind of see the art style in its full form, and just kind of Link doing all this fun new stuff as well as some classic old stuff, showing a little bit of the gameplay mechanics before they actually dive into the actual gameplay. They don't reveal anything about the story except for a little bit of wake up Link, stuff like that. But
we know
he's always asleep, so
dude's tired. Give him a nap.
Yeah, seriously.
The whole trailer was really relaxing to me. They didn't show much of the action of the game. They just kind of showed you floating around. You've got this new gliding mechanic.
Yeah. Climbing, jumping.
Yeah, very, very slow sort of trailer. Not in a bad way, just very calming, relaxing.
Just showing you how fun it is, and just this new form of Zelda.
They're putting big emphasis on the world, and I don't think that they really care about telling us the story, because eventually we're going to find out what this is all about. The biggest thing, of course, is that there's a big emphasis placed on futuristic elements, not necessarily futuristic, but technology.
Yeah.
So there's this little card reader you got, you scan it.
The Sheikah tablet or whatever.
You get...
it's an iPhone.
Basically. You're granted access into all this on these hidden temples. You get powers through absorbing information.
Yeah, instead of getting picking up physical bombs and stuff like that, you get a rune, and it places magical tech bombs, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. They're placing a big emphasis on, as Reggie said in the opening statements, quote, seamless Hyrule. So in the gameplay demos when they're walking around, it's obvious that There's no loading screens, hardly. I mean, they're few and far between, especially when you're entering a dungeon or entering one of these shrines. But when you're out in this open world in the overworld,
You can see everything.
you can see everything. If you want to go there, you can go there, yada, yada, yada. We've heard it. We've seen it. It's pretty excellent. Also, I want to point out that the second mention and the only other mention of the NX was when Reggie was introducing.
So at least we know it's the NX. That's what it is. So
they're calling it the NX, whether that's subject to change. People have been using it. UB used it at their conference, and Nintendo said it out loud here. I still don't think that's the name of the console, but there it is.
Wii U 2.0.
Wii U 2. Wii U V2.
Gosh.
And then, in a bit of a drastic left turn, we went into the Pokemon Sun and Moon demo. They started off by showing us stuff we've already seen, that trailer where you see all the 3 starters, you see the legendaries, and then they moved into an extensive gameplay demo of the mechanics and the menus. And
it seems like it starts like 5 minutes into the game after you pick your starter and stuff like that, and then it jumps around a little bit. And then it goes on for like the next half hour, and it's just really boring. And they're basically showing you how to play Pokemon, and a majority of us already know how to play Pokemon. They show us some cool stuff here and there. It's like, this is going to make your experience easier, things that you can keep track of. But otherwise, it's just like, we know how to play this. It's the same formula.
It was
just boring.
Yeah, I couldn't wait for that thing to be over fast enough. The gameplay looks fine, it looks smooth, the menus are nice, some of the added features are really cool. You brought up the fact that the stat thing is really cool, being able to check to see the stats that are
statuses.
The statuses and projected what it's going to be like if you use a specific attack.
Yeah,
it looks really
as there's like a little subtitle under each move before you use it that shows whether or not it's going to be super effective against this Pokemon that you're fighting. Kind of gives you some help with the type matchups if you're not familiar with it already and you don't know that water beats fire, stuff like that. So.
Yeah. And at the end of the gameplay demo, they went into the thing that they probably should have started off with, which is the Battle Royale system, which is a 4-player online or local free-for-all sort of battle. So you can gang up on people, or you can...
It was interesting. They said you pick up to 3 Pokemon to take in there with you, and the first person who runs out of Pokemon ends the match. And the person with the most KOs is the winner. So, like, if you got 4 friends, you all bring in 3, and you all gang up on one. Whoever was able to actually get, like, the KO shots on everybody would win. But it's an interesting way to battle. They're always constantly coming up with something new, whether it be double battles or triple battles or the horde battles or whatever else, different types of battles, stuff like that. I wasn't a huge fan of horde. I also wasn't a huge fan of triple, but I liked double a lot. This one seems to be more interesting than the 2 most recent ones. So
it definitely looks like it could be fun to try out.
I don't know if it comes into play in the actual game at all.
Yeah, I
would assume no.
I would doubt it.
Unless they have like battle tents like in Emerald.
Unless there's some Final Four action there where you got to fight.
That'd be interesting.
The Elite Four all
by yourself.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Lord have mercy.
That'd be awful.
And then after that very long Pokemon demonstration, we jump back into Zelda, and right now as we're recording this at 2:45 Eastern Time on June 14th, they are still going with Zelda. And they showed us a bunch of the stuff. It looks like the opening part of the game where you wake up in a pool of some sort of water. You're walking around the open world, you get to go explore.
It's like the opening of Alien. It's like you're in like a cryo chamber, and then they wake you up, and they're like, hey, we need your help. Time to get back in the swing of things.
They announced that there's a jump button, there's a sprint button, and the also important thing, the tablet that you now have that scans in and out of these different shrines and locations and stuff like that.
There's also stamina meters, not necessarily crafting, but you can kind of cook food.
Yeah, you cook
to heal
food
yourself. Like cooked food heals you better than raw food in some instances and stuff like that. You can carry like up to like, it looked like 9 weapons.
Also, every weapon pickup has a stat. So you see, like...
This one's better than the one you
Yeah, Crummy Sword has 2, Excellent Sword has 9, and then you can swap in and out.
Yeah, and some
really
weapons
smart,
break.
Really, really smart.
They all have durabilities to them. So I'm wondering if that means later on you can repair weapons and kind of like go to like a forge if there's one in a town. But the thing about this gameplay that I noticed is that you're walking around, there's nobody. And it's you and a bunch of monsters and that old guy.
And herein is my biggest worry about The Legend of Zelda what is this called? Breath of the Wild, is that it is going to be this really open, expansive world, and there's going to be sections of great gameplay, and no doubt are the puzzles going to be fun, and the dungeons are going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be, there's no doubt about that. Lock of the week. But this open world is going to only be interesting for a very specific time unless there are areas that are way more populated. Like you said, I didn't even think about it until you start thinking about cities. Like, what's the big town like? That's what I'm excited about.
Because it looks like, I mean, the Temple of Time's in ruins.
Yeah.
So is there a Hyrule Castle still? Is that in ruins too? Is there like not the forest, but the Gerudo cities and stuff like that? Like, you have all these different cities with indigenous species as well as like other Hylian beings in all of the games, and you have people to talk to, and you have shops to buy from and stuff like that. And I didn't notice him picking up any rupees, so that has me worried that there is no interaction with towns. As in, like,
that's no good.
He wakes up in a world and he's the only one there.
That's bad news if that's really what it's going to come back to.
Is Zelda even in the game?
Well, it's the Legend of Zelda, so she's got to be there somewhere.
She's got to show up.
There could be possibility, there is the Temple of Time. There could be a possibility that time travel plays an important part in the game.
Which would be cool.
And then you move back to when it is populated, so you're going back and forth between ruined Hyrule and
it's kind of like Link to
Hyrule.
the Past, jumping between the dark world and the actual world.
Yeah, so that could be good if that's a mechanic in the game, but again, this is early gameplay, this is demo, this is highly controlled by Nintendo Treehouse, so we don't know what the extent of this game is going to be. But overall, for Nintendo showing, I'm really disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean, Zelda is really cool, and it's great to see it, and that trailer was breathtaking, and it looks beautiful, but this conference has drawn up more concerns than it has fixed,
Definitely.
We knew that Zelda was going to be a lot of fun, and we knew Pokemon was going to be fun. It's like, now I just have all these questions.
It just shows you that they don't have anything up their sleeve. Like, we were in our predictions. We have a bunch of things that we thought that they were going to reveal. And the COO of Nintendo America was only on there for a couple minutes, and he just revealed the trailer.
Mm-hmm. And, there's something to be said about Nintendo saying, like, we're taking it easy this year. We're launching the NX next year. It's going to be a big deal. Talk about it.
Get us excited for it.
I'm highly convinced that, maybe someone, and I think this might have been a dumb move, but it's they're thinking about it this way. I think someone in the dev team or high up there in the in some conference room in Nintendo, maybe it was, Miyamoto or someone like this, but someone said, E3 is too early to start hyping people up about this, so let's do our own event in November when we start pre-orders for the NX, and that's when we get people hyped. We show the console, we show the controller, we show the launch games, the launch lineup, the pre-order bonuses, all this stuff, and like that's going to be their big thing. But even still, E3 is so exciting. This is like Sony's conference didn't announce the PS4K. They didn't announce any new hardware, price drops, bundles, or anything. They just showed game after game after game, and it was awesome, and it got us so hyped and excited. And last night's drunken stupor of a podcast was to prove that to you. Nintendo just, it fell short. And Zelda is, of course, a highlight for me of E3, just seeing the game, but we tuned out. Like, the stream's going on all day, and I'm sure there's going to be people watching all day, but I think at this point it's just like, you know what? There's only so much of Zelda that I can see that's going to hype me up without being able to play it.
Yeah. And it seems like, to me, Nintendo's taking the D23 approach, where Disney's not showing stuff at Comic-Con anymore because they think that they can show it at their own thing to try and hype people up that way. And it's like you said, like, E3 is such a big event. Why wouldn't you just continue with that and try and one-up other people at the event? So, I don't know. It's like, I would agree with you. Overall, it's a little disappointing.
Yeah.
I'm excited to play Zelda. I wish I could know more about the NX, though, because I want to know what I want to look forward to, because right now Nintendo's, like, bottom-feeding in terms of, like, things that I want to purchase.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't want to fork up a bunch of money about something I don't know about.
Yeah. A few minutes ago on Gaff, someone posted about a stealth, I guess, announcement of a Mario Party game for the 3DS being announced for this year. Cool. That's exactly what we wanted, Nintendo. But before we close this E3 Super Show out with all the conferences and our reactions, let's go through our predictions once more. Won't go through the things we got wrong, but the things we got right, for me, Battlefield gameplay shown off in Michael Richard Creams' jeans, zero mention of Uncharted DLC, and Zelda given an official title, The Legend of Zelda Rebirth of Hyrule. Of course, the official title was Breath of the Wild. Now, so I'm going to call that 3 points for me.
Okay.
Because I have my Rebirth of Hyrule thing in quotes, because I think that was just a pie-in-the-sky guess. But I was hoping that Zelda was given an official title. Yours were showcase trailer for DLC for Battlefront Bespin and maybe Death Star, but no footage from Battlefront 2. You got that correct. Tease for a story-based Star Wars game at EA conference. It was Viscerals. You got that absolutely correct. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Nintendo will not show or NX or talk about it in any way, is the prediction that I have written down. Now,
they mentioned it.
They mentioned the name.
It's not talking about it.
Okay, so that's what you meant, is they wouldn't go in depth about the console at all?
Yeah.
Okay, so then that's your point. So it looks like we walked away a tie.
3-3.
3-3. If, for some reason, before E3 is over, which is on Wednesday, I believe, is the final day of the show floor, or Thursday, if anything is announced that negates these or adds to our list, there you go. We'll see who the real winner is on next week's episode of Radiovania. But thank you very much, John, for joining us. Did you have a good time this weekend?
I had a good time this weekend.
It's always a lot of fun. E3's a great weekend for me. It's exciting. I don't know, there's hardly a night like last night where Sony just hits all the right notes, and it makes me excited to be a fan of this industry. But thank you very much for joining us on this very special episode of Radiovania. As always, you can go to radiovania.com to get all of our news, all of our coverage, all of our content, all of our drunk videos that we put up on there. Go watch the few of us. Go watch these. Go watch John and Michael make fools of themselves while pretending that mac and cheese bites are a trophy.
Surprise, little brother.
You can follow me at Zacquatello or at Radiovania on Twitter. You can follow John at @JohnParker. We've announced we're going to announce some special things for the show. Next week, we're gonna start to break down segments. John's going to be hosting a new comic portion of the show, which is dedicated to the comics industry, dedicated to all comics news. It's going to be awesome, as well as the At That Corner coming back in full force. This week's was just E3, but next week we're going to have a traditional show for you with news and all the biggest things since E3. But if you want to email us your questions or topic ideas or your reactions to E3, go radiovaniashow@gmail.com. John, do you have anything else you want to add before we close this one out?
There's a Batman VR game coming out, and I'm really excited for it.
Batman VR hype, Spider-Man VR hype. It's a good time.
X-Wing VR hype, God of War VR hype, or not VR,
not VR hype.
Maybe
Dad of War hype.
Dad of War.
All right, see you, everyone.